every time I pull up at the let out, it's a spectacle.
All right, so hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Let Out. We got a great show. Of course we do. I want to start off by introducing my co-host Sylvia, my other co-host Alicia with the hair and the shoulders. And so it's combo night. So and me, Will, aka Bobby. All right, so let's get started. A couple topics we got to talk about. We got to talk about Kirk Franklin, Cursing Kirk, and we're gonna talk about
that was cussing. That was cursing. That was cussing.
And we're gonna talk about the recent crime sprees that have been going on toward Asian Americans, or violent acts and hate crimes toward Asian Americans, so to speak. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about Kirk. Let's talk about it. So do we think that Kirk was out of character? Do we see anything really wrong with it? What's your thoughts on that? And I'll start with Alicia.
I didn't see anything wrong with it. I agree with what Steve Harvey said. You know, when they be doing those pranks and jokes, nephew Tommy does them, and he does with a lot of people that be in the church, pastors, deacons, the lady of the church. And when he get them riled up, you know what they start doing? Cussing his ass out. And then when they realize it's a prank, it's like, oh no, please don't post this. Please don't post it, because nobody wants people to know what they do and what they say behind closed doors. So no, I think that he had a human moment. We all have them. And then we don't know the context of the whole conversation. You're just recording me reacting to you, but what am I reacting to? And the son, it's not like he was talking to his 12-year-old son like this. He was talking to his 33-year-old son. So shit, sometimes, I am gonna stomp your ass after you keep talking to me crazy. I mean, I know I've heard that it's toxic. I saw some other sites saying that it's black toxicity within the black households, that those of us who think that it's okay to do that. But again, I don't know the whole context of it. Sounds like
I think that it's okay to talk to your children, even like that.
Yes. I think this is whatever this is going on behind closed doors is 14 years of frustration and anger. And I'm sure that this is not the worst of the conversations that they've had. This is just the worst of what we've heard. Right. I think if anything, to me, I judge the son more than I judge Frank. I said Frank, here's Kirk Franklin. I judge the son more. Because I think it's tacky. What were you looking to accomplish by going ahead and leaking that information? Like, to me, it looked worse on him than what he thought it was going to do to Kirk Franklin. If anything, he made Kirk look more human to the rest of us imperfect souls out there too. So I think it just backfired on the son.
Absolutely backfired.
Sylvia?
I didn't see anything wrong with it from the start. Like, I didn't even have to go and read anybody else's comment or whatever,
right?
To say that, you know, he's done anything wrong. He's human, and everybody, no matter how perfect you may think, everybody has a human moment,
right?
And for his son to be 33 years old, and it was clear to me for him to even post it and say what he said, he was crying for help. So it was deeper than him just cussing you out. Like, it was something else that was going on. And I couldn't just say that it was all Kirk. This has been going on for 14 years. So this is not, it's new to us, but not new to them. Right. So for me, that ain't the first time your dad cussed you out. Like, period. Then another thing, in the recording, I felt like he was antagonizing him. Because he was just like, when he said, what did he tell him? When he told him he'll put his foot in his ass or something like that, and he was like, do it. And I'm like, that he felt so comfortable with doing it. You've been doing it. So you've been you've been baiting him in, you've been antagonizing him. So that further leads me to believe that you're not just as innocent as everybody else, as you want everybody else to believe that you are. But I also did, a little digging, a little research, and just ran across some stuff and read an article where they were saying that Kirk and his wife did an interview with somebody, and then the boy's mom did an interview with somebody, and she pretty much was backing up what they were already saying about him. Like, they had been in and out of therapy for years. This has been an ongoing issue. He's had issues that they've been trying to work through. So it wasn't saying, giving the same narrative that he was giving. Her narrative was more so along with Kirk and his wife, saying that this has been an ongoing issue. We've been going to therapy. We've been trying to work with him through this. So, and even I've gone on his page, his Instagram page, and look, and you can tell, like, he's a little bit
different.
That's the word I'm looking for. I don't want to say anything else, but he's a little bit different. And I think that the struggle may have come with him at an early age, dancing to the beat of his own drum, and you're still not of age to dance to the beat of your own drum. So your parents are still trying to give you guidance, and that's where the resistance started. And so it just carried over because even I think somebody told me that he was the youngest daughter, and he had a rebuttal to her live when she went on, and he felt like she took their dad from him. So it's a lot of packed on issues that's going on that ultimately led to him feeling like the only option he have left is to post a recording to garner the public's sympathy. I don't know, maybe to get.
But we can't help you. My thing with that is we can't, bro. What you want us to do? We can't help.
I don't think he does anything wrong. I think that he was just looking for sympathy from the public to maybe possibly come down on Kurt, and then maybe he'll change his outlook or whatever. I don't know, but it ended up backfiring on him. So like, it was an epic fail.
Yeah. I think that I'm with y'all, so to speak. It's basically one of those things where, you know me, I don't believe that. Hold on. Thank you. I don't believe that he did anything wrong. I think it's to agree with y'all. I think his son's just I'm not gonna call him different. I'm gonna call him what he is. That's a dickhead. So if you look at it like, why would you do that to someone that obviously you have a relationship with like that, that you've been dealing with for so long? You know what they've done for you, regardless of y'all past. Why would you even do that? That's first and foremost. Second, I think some while ago I stopped believing in profanity. So everybody's just getting on him about, oh, yeah, he just, he's just using, he's using those words and this and that. I don't see anything wrong with the words that he said. It's just words. Had he said, I kick your butt, it's the same as ass. If he said motherfucking, same thing as damn, or any other adjective. It's just words. Like, we make what profanity is. So for me, he just showcased anger, and he used a choice of words. We have so many choice of words in the English vocabulary that could say the same thing that he said, but people associate that with is wrong, and we talked about that before. So I don't see anything by any means that he said wrong. I think the context more so was if anybody was going to question anything, I would say the context, because then when you talk about doing harm, that's when you're talking about things that are against the word. So if anybody's going to judge anything, it should be that part of it, even though I don't think that they should judge any of it, because again, these are the same people that in their households, they're going to beat their kids' ass if they get disrespected. They're going to talk to them crazy, like you said, like both of y'all said. They're going to talk to them just as crazy, if not crazier. Like you said, it's one of those things where certain things happen in every home, but it gets sensationalized when it's in somebody's home and we actually see it. Then it gets blown out of proportion. So for me, I don't think he did anything wrong. It's like, I think it was Alicia that said that if anything, it brought him, made him seem more human. And honestly, people like seeing realistic things happen. So, and for him to come forward, him and his wife, they just did an interview where they were talking about it, and he was saying that's still his son, that even if he called him now, he would still answer the call because they're still working on some things and all of that. So I think everything he's doing right now is only more testimony. Period. So I don't see nothing wrong. I don't know why people making a big deal out of it. Like if he got on the thing and just started cussing right now, I wouldn't care. I just don't.
Make it more relatable.
It does.
I think it make it more relatable because I'm just like, if any of my text messages or any of my calls were ever leaked,
You know what I'm saying?
Got on me.
Just words, man.
You know what? I didn't even know that there was an oldest son. I ain't gonna lie. I did not know. I had no idea.
Me.
Yeah,
I thought it was just it was just the 3 that I see on social media. So
it was just
I knew he had an older son.
It was his Malcolm X days. Yeah. That was them days. He got a little something on.
I think that too, though. With the
he was Captain Kirk back in. One was smashing everything.
I think one of the frustrations that he may not have been able to completely live the life that he saw the other 3 living. You know.
I mean, but.
And I don't know at what point that Kirk had the money. At what age he was when Kirk finally started making some real money too.
Listen, okay, I know I did read where he said we had been, traveling all over the world, basically across seas, whatever, since the age that he was 3. And I think the last time he said he was allowed to take a picture with them was in like 2007. So he reaped some of the benefits that the other kids reaped as well. And maybe he felt like they were getting more than he was because he wasn't in the home permanently, like the other kids were, huh?
Some kids have that sense of resentment.
And and the reason why I said that is funny. I have a sister that's a couple years older than me. That's my dad's child, and I remember asking her one day. I think I was in like high school at the time. And I just asked her, I was like, what is it that you have against me? Like, because people will come back and tell me, oh, she's talking about you and what have you. And I'm just like, I didn't know this. It's not like we were close. We would see each other every now and we lived close enough to see each other all the time. But I mean, just face it, my daddy just didn't make sure that it happened. And so I asked her one day, she had came over to visit. And I asked her, I was like, what is it that you have against me? Why do you not like me? And she felt like I was getting more than she was because I lived in a house with him. Contrary to her belief, and I had to tell her, I'm like, no, ma'am, honey, I promise you, just because he lives here, I felt like it was worse because I'm in the house with him and I see him all the time. And I'm not even getting what I felt like I should have been getting from my dad. And he's right here. Like I would literally go to bed at night. I would see him to the next morning when I'm getting ready for school. And then I wouldn't see him again to the next morning. So it's one thing where he's not in your house and you're not getting it, but he's there, you still not getting it. I felt like I was getting the shorter end of the stick.
It's a difference, man.
Yeah. So, it could be he possibly felt like they were getting more than he was getting because they were around him all the time, which may have, when he made the comment to the youngest daughter or response to the youngest daughter that you took my dad away from me. He could have felt like I don't see him as much and spend time with him as much because now here are the other kids. So.
Yeah. I get that feeling too. I've had that. I can agree and attest as far as other kids believing that. I think it hits home for me just a tad. But speaking of like hate and thinking a certain way of people, there's been a recent crimes committed where a guy went into actually in Atlanta. Where a guy walked into some Asian salons, I think it was, or Asian establishments, and just
spas. I think there were spas.
Yeah. Right, and so spas. So they walked into the spas and just kind of just shot people, and some people were dead and things like that. So I want to know, like, is Asian hate real, or is this something that, is it something that is we just seeing a couple of it now, and it's kind of like people bringing it to the forefront, or is it something that we need to be alarmed about? Like, what are your thoughts on that? And I'll start with Sylvia this time.
Um, I'm not gonna say that it's not real because
Right.
I don't have the. I feel like I don't have the right to say that Asian hate is not real because I'm not Asian, so I
Right.
I don't know what they experience, so I don't want to diminish, you know,
What they go
their
through.
feelings.
Right.
It's something I feel like definitely need to be brought to the forefront now than later. We
Okay.
don't. There's no need to sit on it and wait for something else to happen, then wait for something else to happen, and then wait for something else to happen to say, oh, it's real now.
Right.
It was real when he walked in there and killed those people for no reason.
Yeah.
Um, I think it definitely needs to be brought to the forefront because I feel like if it's diminished, then somebody else can feel like they can do the same thing. Oh, because they're not important, or they make them feel like their life don't mean anything, and they do.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, I was reading something on Facebook where and I can't remember what the post was, but I was reading the comments, and I think it was about the shooting. I was reading the comments where now Asian kids are, because they see it on the news or they hear their parents talking about it, or whoever. Now they're asking their parents, why would he do that? Is it hate towards us or whatever? So not only do you have grown people alarmed, you have little kids alarmed. So
I got
I definitely think that it's something that needs to be brought to the forefront. It does not need to be diminished. It's not um, something I think that needs to be brushed under the rug.
you. I got you.
I think it needs to be put on the radar.
I got
Absolutely.
you.
I think that they need to um, make sure that they take measures to protect themselves. Because you see, like now, they're on the radar as well. And so they have a right to protect themselves. So I feel like they need to make sure they do what's necessary to protect them, their family, their loved ones, kids, whoever. So yeah.
Makes sense. Alicia.
So I think it is real. I think that a lot of this hate stemmed from dun dun dun, dun our former president um referring to COVID as the China virus. Every time he could speak and say something, he was making sure that we understood that it was their fault. They did this. They brought that here, and unfortunately, he had and still has a lot of influence over weak-minded people here. And so with the COVID happening, yes, we did start, especially I think in like New York and LA, you started seeing a trend of people attacking. I've even seen some Black people attacking videos, attacking Asians, um, and blaming them on COVID for COVID. So that narrative that he was spewing had an impact on how people now viewed them. Now they were a minority that's brought this spread, and you're the reason why we are on quarantine, and which is ignorant. But again, I don't think he's talking to people with logical minds that are able to articulate. Um, with that being said, I think that even more so of just highlighting Asian hate, I think if anything, the conversation really needs to be about domestic terrorism, white domestic terrorism to be exact, and what kind of threat that is. Because today it's Asians.
Right.
Next, it's gonna go back to who the main primary person is, which is Black people. So that to me needs to be the focus and the biggest point of the conversation. Because even when the police officer who was over the case, when he was talking about it, I don't know if y'all saw the video, but he blamed it on not hate, but that the killer, the murderer, the terrorist just had a bad day.
And
And
did he say
that's
there
just what
was
he
some Do you remember, or did you read what the reason he told them it was that he did it?
It just sounded like the whole day was just going bad. It just he had a bad day.
Okay, I read something else. I don't remember what
It was some. I know what
I
she's.
want to say.
I know
I'm
what
sure that
she's
there was
talking
more
about.
than his
I
bad
know what
day.
she's talking. I read it.
My
I know
issue
what you're
though
talking.
is I don't want to even hear the reason why, because
No, it's a stupid reason.
when
Like
when
it's a
white
reason you're gonna
terrorists,
be like, really?
but when they do things, they always try to explain it away and give it a reason.
This reason is so dumb.
So
And my thing is,
so
I don't even say for me, for the police officer who got up there to make that statement, I don't care. I want to actually hear about the people who
I would
died.
have rather the police officers what the police officer said than what he said. And I could be wrong. Was it something about because of his addiction, Will?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it
Was
was
it
something like that.
addiction to porn?
It was an addiction to porn or something else. It
Yeah.
was it
Yeah,
was something
yeah.
crazy.
Like,
I read that somewhere. Yeah, I read
yeah,
it.
I was like, what?
Nah, son. So basically, this guy, I don't see anything wrong with what the cop said. I just don't.
Okay, so you explain
I
it.
don't. I don't. I don't. No, I don't. I don't. I don't see anything wrong with that. That's why people commit crimes sometimes, because they having a bad fucking day, and they commit crimes. So if that was what he was told, hold on. If that was what he was told, he's just repeating what he was told. He didn't justify it. He didn't say he was right for doing it. He didn't shrug it off. He said he did this because he was having a bad day. If that, again, what is he supposed to say?
For Darius that did it, nobody would have wanted to hear why he did it and about his bad day.
But no, because yes, you do. You want to hear why people do senseless crimes like this. Just like when me and Sylvia read about, the addiction or whatever fascination that he had. Because when you read these type of things, you want to know why people do stupid stuff. The people the other people that just got killed over the stimulus check. You hear 4 people get shot up.
Well, that one was for the.
But hold on. Had you heard 4 people got shot though, right? And they tell you that 4 people got shot. The next question on your mind is, what the hell was he thinking shooting 4 of his family members? So us finding out why he did it, now we know, it's stupid, but we know why it was so stupid, and we at least know why he did what he did, so that we can call it stupid. So that's first and foremost for me. The other thing is, now I want to throw a big disclaimer out here, big one, before I say what I'm going to say. Okay, the biggest disclaimer is that I do not think that there is this big rise or anything on Asian hate crimes. I just don't. No, I'm not an Asian. Of course, I wouldn't know 100% that there is. However, to me, it's the same as saying that there is a big, hate crimes on Indians, hate crimes on, another race. You just don't much see it. I couldn't pull the stats up, but I had these stats before, and I'll find them again. I think I sent them to you guys. When this was later in 2020, where I looked up the statistics on hate crimes. And on the hate crimes, when you look at white to Asian, black to Asian, black to black, so on and so forth, these people were at the bottom. Even in Asian, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Every hate crimes against every culture.
Right. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, do you think that this could be a catalyst for the increase of it happening?
Always. What happens is people work on copycat. You know what I mean? Like when people see something, it starts a trend. We get that. That
was the point of my argument.
Yeah, it'll start a trend. Of course, it's always going to be copycats, but has it existed to the point of, like, be honest with you, to the point of concern? I don't think so. That's just me. I mean, because you don't see it. Of course,
Asian woman having to go ahead and to beat her attacker, and she's in tears and she's crying. And again, the reason and the rationale that they're doing it now currently is blaming them for COVID. Like, so I don't
That's
think
just
that
an excuse. That's just an excuse. That's an excuse.
I'm not going to diminish what their experience is, because again, when it's happening and when we're on the other end of it, it's also an excuse when we're saying
No. What I'm saying when I say excuse, I don't mean on the part of Asians. I mean on the part of not the victimized, the ones that's doing the victimizing is what I'm saying. To me, that's an excuse, because there's already an embedded hate. You're just looking for the newest person to hate on. So not that I'm not diminishing that they're going through things, because like Sylvia just said and we discussed, it's that rise is there. You're seeing Black people do it, but then Black people do it, but Black people did the same thing. Certain Black people, they did the same thing when they had this crime spurt where they were robbing Mexicans because they knew, they had money on them and stuff like that. So it's always a spurt of something. I don't think that is a true thing that has been. It's just a thing that is now and coming up. That's just me. I mean, because
it's not a consistent pattern of.
It's not. I mean, it's not something we really worry. That's why it's not.
Because this is something new that we're dealing with during the pandemic, and so I don't think that they are consistently targets. No, I think for the most part, people leave them alone. They kind of one of the ones who kind of,
right, exactly. Right. They stay to their own. Right. And you don't hear anything from them. So that's why I know that. And plus, when I say they stay their own, they have their own communities and they don't go out much and mingle. They don't mingle enough to be, out there like that.
They need to be quiet.
So what?
Somebody on social media said, what do you think? That they said that we need to be quiet because when we talking about Black Lives Matter, they said their Asian community is like this.
Hey, let me tell you something. When I say, hold up. When I say, on God, let me keep myself. When I said that same sentiment a few days ago, when it first happened, I was like, we all up and at them. I was like, but hey, look around when we going through, and it's not to say don't feel bad about that, because it shouldn't happen to anybody. I want to make that right. But I'm just saying though, we really have to watch what we're doing, because we stick our necks out there a lot of times and we get it chopped off. And then when it's time for us to go through some stuff, not saying just Asians or anybody, I'm just saying for anybody, a lot of people don't really come to our aid like that. And we we try to jump out there because you know why? It's because we understand it's easy to go and help somebody when you understand some of the things that they're going through. But that's another reason why I don't think it's as heavy, because if they understood what was happening to us, they would help. Right. And if it's not happening and it's not prevalent in their community, then no, they don't. They're gonna stay there like, yo, I'm chill, we good over here, ain't nobody really messing with us. So I mean, that's just everybody. So I mean, it's just, it is what it is. Right. You know, not to knock anybody, but I mean,
you preaching.
I'm just saying, you gotta respect what it is. And I thought that the other day, and of course I didn't mention it. It's just a thought in my head, but I'm like, I hate to see that happening to anybody. Right. I hope it doesn't continue. I really do. I don't, because nobody wants this. Again, things that we go through, we don't want to see nobody else go through that. When we see people go through it that don't understand, we say, now you see. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like you're on TV, and now you understand how it is, which is, bad, but it gives other people a chance to realize how it's wrong, how it's wrong, how it pains, how it how it aches the soul to be treated a certain way just because of either something somebody said about you, aka Black people in America. People said that we were thieves
because of your nationality, color of your skin, like
right. You know what I'm saying? People like, if they are, and I think it's an excuse. Those people that, I don't think it's Trump. These people believe this about Jews. They believe the Chinese. They don't believe nobody's supposed to be here but them. So they would do that to anybody. They just find new targets. Sometimes you get tired of beating at the same horse. you get tired of it. You're like, you know what? I need some new animals to kind of, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like Trump kind of like cracked the door, pushed the door open for you. It's okay for you to be able to do this because I'm getting up on this open platform as the leader of the free world saying it's their fault. Right. So if it's their fault, then I don't think he's responsible for their beliefs, but I think he's responsible for aiding in them acting on their beliefs, because he just got up there and freely said, for all to hear, it's your fault, it's their fault, this is the reason why it's over here. You know what I mean? Like, we'll know it, but we won't speak about it. We only speak about it amongst people we trust. It's not going to repeat it to nobody else of that who we're speaking against. Right. But he got up there and he just boldly out in public spoke out against them. So it made them comfortable enough to say, I don't like you either, and I don't like you, and I'm going to do something about it.
And it's okay.
So
and
no,
it's okay to feel that hate
for their beliefs. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I have a question. But I feel like you.
No, I have a question. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
So random. Oh, and I don't even know if we talked about this before on the show. What's the difference between having sex and making love, and do we care?
Sometimes you care depending on what kind of mood you're in.
Damn.
But okay, sometimes you care depending on the mood. But okay, so now explain to me the difference, because now you got a mood to where you want the difference. So what's
one is a little bit more romantic, like making love is more romantic. It's more of a emotional connection.
Okay.
Intimacy. The foreplay is on another level.
So there's no foreplay in regular sex. Gotcha. So what's
for me, like, I can't speak for nobody else. It's I'm
trying to figure out the difference.
But there's making love and there's fucking. Let's be clear. If I just want to fuck, we ain't trying to go ahead and to be all passionate and kissing. No, hey, come on. Shit.
Knock the Mario coins out.
Okay, you stupid.
Break my back.
So what's the difference? Like, what are we looking for when we making love? We want to be held. We want to be like, we want.
It's like
we really like we really like
passionate,
booty eyes and being touched all super soft.
Yeah.
Okay, so why you don't like? Okay, all right. So
because it just depends. It depends. Like, they're literally sometimes like, I don't want none of that. Like, I want you to get in here, and I'm talking about like poor hair. So I mean, I told you, knock the Sonic Hedgehog coins out, bro. I need to see the coins hanging.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, when you knocking the coins out, you still the same effect. Like, you still
no. Because it's it was a song out back in the 90s.
You got a minute and 20 seconds.
It was a song out back in the 90s, I think, called Slow Grind.
Uh-huh.
In the chorus, she said slow grind or whatever. We can take our time.
Right.
That's the whole making love thing. Slow grind.
You can still take your time with sex.
No, there's no.
It's straight pound town, baby.
Oh,
you still taking your time. You still taking your
time. No, don't take your time, sir. I'm trying to get there quickly. I hope you are too.
So that's quicker then.
Wait a minute, hold on. I ain't never, just because it's pound town don't mean you're trying to get there quickly. That's just what I'm in the mood for.
When I think about love making, I think about taking our time, and it's
you taking your time.
She didn't close her eyes.
You making love to the goddamn. Can't talk about this with y'all, man.
Yo, our time about to run out, bro. Our time for the run out.
Y'all. We appreciate it.
We want to know the difference from y'all in the comments. We need to know the difference from y'all in the comments.
Right.
And do you have a preference? Do you have a preference?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a question. Do you have a preference? Right. I hate I couldn't get my perspective on it, but we'll
you have to come back.
Comment, and we'll come back with it. And comment on the background. We'll come back.
Every time I pull up at the let out, it's a spectacle.